Good morning and welcome to the $100,000 Minute Group with Keisha Dixon. I am Keisha Dixon and I am so excited to be here with you today. So yesterday, Monday in my business is not a client-facing day. It's a day I work on my business rather than in my business. And I got a phone call pretty early in the morning, from a new friend who lives relatively close, asking if I could come over and we'd hang out. So I was like, sure. Now, this is a friend of my sister's who I've gone with my sister to visit from time to time since living here. And my sister has always driven there, and it was never a long drive. Like, he lives in the neighborhood. So I was like, yeah, send me your address. I'm going to walk on over. So he sent the address. Actually, my sister gave me the address. And I did one of those, hey, I don't want to say, hey Siri, but I, hey Siri to, Siri just came on. Go to Google Maps to get the directions. And so I started on my way. Now, I'm not intimately familiar with this neighborhood yet. Yes, I've gone on walks, but I, I'm just not intimately familiar with like the side streets, etc. So I'm following Google Maps, and it had me make a turn that I wasn't expecting. I was like, "Huh, this doesn't feel right." And yet I followed it. I followed the turn. Then it had me take another turn. And I followed that turn and I'm like, this doesn't even look familiar. But I followed the turn. I kept following the turns. I ended up on, I believe it was Manning Avenue or Manning Boulevard, something like that. They call it Mansions Row. I'm like, this really doesn't look familiar to me at all. Now, at this point, I had already walked over a mile, right? So I was like committed in this journey. I'm going to get to his house. I'm walking along the road, this long road that goes up and down, Mansions Row, all these beautiful houses. I'm like, this doesn't look familiar. And then I started second guessing that this doesn't look familiar because I started justifying or rationalizing in my head, well, every time I've ever been there, I've been in the car with my sister and we've been chatting and I wasn't paying attention and I was telling myself stories like, and I have a bad sense of direction. So this could very well be familiar and I'm just not realizing it. And I kept going and I kept going and I kept going and I kept following the Google Map directions, holding my phone. It was really warm yesterday. I'm glistening and sweating, and I'm going along my journey, right? I'm walking and walking and walking. And at 4.4 miles in, I reached the destination. Oh, while I was walking, every time there was a shade tree, I would say, thank you, shade tree. Thank you, shade tree. Like, really just staying embodied and in gratitude as I'm following these directions that I kept feeling internally like this isn't right. This is not taking me to the right place. This isn't right. But I was in gratitude. Thank you, shade tree. Thank you, shade tree. And in gratitude for my legs that I could walk and feeling like, oh, yeah, and I'm not feeling any pain, even though I wasn't wearing sneakers. I was wearing flip flops. And I had been walking for miles at this point. I had been walking for over, I want to say over 2 hours at this point. I'm like, wow, get to the address. And I let out a, oh, fuck. This is not the street that I'm supposed to be on. This is not the same house. This might be the address that Google Maps is telling me, but it is not my friend's house. And that's when, after letting out that oh fuck, right? Having been in gratitude along the journey and feeling the old fuck along the way as well. Because, surprise, contrary to some belief systems out there, you can indeed hold two opposite feelings at the same time simultaneously. It's just that oh fuck, that was there. I was trying to repress and suppress, and it was just getting louder and louder and louder until when I realized I was not where I had intended to be. 2 hours later, I was not where I had intended to be. 4.4 miles later, I was not where I had intended to be. That, that, oh fuck, got real loud. It just burst out. I took the moment to actually look at Google Maps instead of listening to Google Maps, and I realized that the address that, hey Siri, and Siri opened up again, let me close that, had typed in, perhaps I had mispronounced the address, or Siri um, misheard me. It had the address was um, Keeler Street, and it had taken me to Keller Street. I was off by one vowel, one consonant. I was off by one letter. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh wow. So I made my way back home in a cab. And I got cleaned up. And the entire time on my way back home, I'm like, what's the lesson in this? What is this trying to show me? There has to be a lesson in this. What is this about? How could I be so far off track from where I was going to go? And and of course, because I asked, I received the answers, right? The answers are already inside of me. How often have you been following other people's voices, following systems, following the rules, and your internal guide, your internal north has been whispering, perhaps shouting loudly, this isn't right. This isn't right for me. This isn't what I desire. This isn't what is calling to me. This doesn't feel right. I don't recognize this. I don't remember this. This isn't about leaving my comfort zone. This feels like I'm on the wrong path. This doesn't look remotely familiar or recognizable, not in a way of, oh, this is change and this is growth, but I feel like I'm completely lost here. And we've stuffed it down with feelings of gratitude and discounted what our internal north has been telling us all along. But we followed the experts, we followed the voice of expertise, we followed the path that's been beaten down without questioning, well, wait a minute, does this path even point me to what I truly desire, what I'm truly seeking, what's going to emerge from me? Is it what my experience, the experience that I'm looking for, is that what it is? And what I was doing on those 4.4 miles while hearing the voice and expressing gratitude and simultaneously repressing the, oh fuck, I'm lost, right? What I was not doing was questioning whether or not the voice of authority in that moment, Google Maps, unconsciously, I was on my programming. I was unconsciously on my program. We're not going to question the expert. We're not going to question the authority. We're not going to question Google Maps because they've already been there. They've done it. They know, right? The they in this instance, in this story, was Google Maps. Was Google Maps, was the system. And I was blindly following the wrong voice. Now, my blindly following the wrong voice didn't, in this instance, make the voice wrong. Google Maps was absolutely correct for the destination that Siri had decided I was looking for, but it wasn't the destination that I desired. So it wasn't that the expert or the authority, the system was wrong. No, those were the right directions for the destination that was not correct and right for me. Got home, freshened myself up, and then I sat down, had some water, and I typed in the correct address. And I double checked, is this the address I want to go? And I got up and I walked to that address, and that took 8 minutes. It was a quarter of a mile. We can go the long way. We can take the long journey. We can take the long journey in gratitude and frustration simultaneously. We can get to a destination and discover it's not exactly the destination that we actually desired. Or we can take every single vowel and consonant that specifically spells out what it is that we desire, right? Where it is that we want to go, which requires really sitting with yourself and listening to, not discounting, that inner voice that's telling us what it is that we want, what it is that we desire. Listening to it, and we can go the short way. The short way requires following your north. What it is that you want, what it is that you desire, and then listening to what it is that you want and what it is that you desire, and checking in with yourself along the way. Hey, is this feeling right and correct? Is this feeling easy? Or is this feeling really hard, really long? Am I forcing the gratitude here? We get to check in. And because there's this false belief that's prevalent, and I'm speaking to entrepreneurs, this false belief that's prevalent that we don't know success until X, Y, or Z happens, we tend to second guess our own internal voice. But that's a program. That's a programming, because each and every one of us already has experienced success. You've experienced the success of coming through. You are already the miracle. And it doesn't even matter what family you came in through with, how you came in through, right? Whether it was naturally through the birth canal or through a C-section, whether it was a blissful event or full of hard press contractions, whether in us it was a forced labor or a natural birth, you came through. And that is success. And so success in your life, designing the life of your dreams, success in your business, designing the business of your dream, it's a remembrance that you already are success, and you already are the miracle, and you already get to trust your beingness. But in order to trust your beingness, there's this unbecoming that must happen. Unbecoming the programmed version that forgot that you are success. And unbecoming can feel just like that, unbecoming. It can feel like I'm going the road less traveled. I'm following my internal guidance. I'm not necessarily listening to other people's systems and tactics that work for them because the consonants are off for me. It doesn't match my DNA. It doesn't match my cellular structure, and it doesn't match the creation that's already been created inside of me, inside of my imagination. That's the unbecoming. And it feels wobbly at times. But when you take that road, all of a sudden it seems easier and easier and easier to become more of you than ever before. And becoming more of you than ever before means you have reconnected with your remembrance that you are success. So go ahead and take a deep breath and say with me, I am success. I'm Keisha Dixon. This has been a $100,000 minute, and I'll see you real soon. Have a great day, everyone.